Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Bobby, and I have a really cute card I'm going to make. Instead of having one already made up to show you, I decided I would just do this one on camera. And let's hope it turns out right, or I'll be not too happy. Okay, I am going to use my Misty for the stamping, and these are going to be birthday cards. And I'm going to use Friendly Wishes, You're the Best. And then from Sunburst Sayings, I'm going to use Happy Birthday to You. But I want to stamp it first. And I'll show you what I've done so far. I've cut my pieces out, and I have two basic card bases. They're both 4 1/4 wide, 11 long, and I've scored and folded them at 5 1/2. And then I cut a piece of Peekaboo Peach for one and Perfect Plum for the other to exactly fit the front at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I want to stamp the cinnamon on the Peekaboo Peach on the left. So I'm going to do that in Memento Black. And the reason I'm going to stamp it first is because I'm going to put a border on the right, and I want to make sure my cinnamon is where I want it before I put the border, because I can always trim the borders down. So I want You're the Best about here, and Happy Birthday to You just below it. And I'm going to pick that up with my lid. And actually, when I'm using the sponge, the ones that have the sponge backing on them, I need to take that pad out. That pad is for when you're using the photopolymer, because they don't have any cushion. So I want to make sure that I've got these positioned straight, and Happy Birthday is definitely not straight. This one looks pretty good. This one is way off kilter. I'd be upset if I stamped it like that, and I want it in the middle of the word best, so move it like so. Okay. Now the advantage of having the Misty is you can get a really crisp black image, because you can be sure you're always going to stamp it in the same place. You can stamp 2 or 3 times if you want to, and I can see right now there's not enough ink on there. I've got to get a refill for this Memento, but it's going to work. So we're going to press this down, and I always like to start with my cardstock in this right lower corner, down at the bottom and over to the right, and that way sometimes it'll stick to your stamp and lift up, but you know you can always put it back right back in the same spot and always get a perfect image. Okay, so we're going to stamp it again. The chances you'd ever get this right on your own. That looks pretty good, but I think I'm going to give it one more stamp just for good measure, just to make sure. Make sure it's in the right spot. And I'm going to stamp it again. I use this thing all the time. I mean, I paid $50 for it, and it has been worth every penny I have spent on it. I promise you it has been. Okay, now let's do the Perfect Plum while we're here. I hope the black will show up good on the Perfect Plum. But that's what I'm going to stick with. If not, I'll go back and get another ink that I can heat emboss on it. I do have some VersaFine black that'll stay. Well, that shows up pretty good. It stays wet long enough that you can add some clear embossing powder and heat it, and then it shows up really well. But I normally like to stay with this because this is a good ink, gives a good crisp image, and it's something that Stampin' Up! Sells, so I try to stay with that stuff. Yeah, it's coming out pretty good. Whoa! I'm glad I didn't get it on my cardstock. I wouldn't have been too happy about that. I'm going to give it one more shot, and then we're going to go on to the next step. Get the lid on it before I throw it all over the table again. But that ink will wipe right off of there with the baby wipe. I put my stamps up here until I get in the other room where I can clean them. Okay, that's all the stamping we have. Now what I did ahead was I cut out a mask using the balloon framelits, and I used a piece of vellum, and I used this die and cut out a balloon, and then I did an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock because my granddaughter has several cards she needs to give. So we just did a whole sheet and we cut it in 2-inch strips like this. You can see where that was part of a whole sheet, and we cut it in 2-inch strips. And what I want to do is put this black border along the edge and down the side of the card. I may have to cut off a little bit of the balloons, and I wanted a little strip of glimmer paper in here as well, just to give it some sparkle like that. And those are going to be the birthday cards, and then I'm going to add some Wink of Stella. So let me see if this goes along here, and I've got 2 pieces of this so I can trim it down. So I don't want it to run over the sentiment. That's why I wanted to stamp the sentiment first. I'm going to need to take just a hair off of this one. So let me grab my paper trimmer. And I'll take just a little bit off of the blue one. I want to leave the purple on there because that's the background I've chosen, was the perfect plum, so that needs to stay on there. Okay, I took maybe about, and I'll go ahead and take the same off of this one, just down to that first mark there, and I should be okay. I cut the strips at 2 inches, and I wasn't really sure how much I'd need. So this is going to go right here. And I want this to be tucked about like so. And then there'll be a room for that little piece of glimmer. So let's glue these together. And this comes from the neutral stack, the DSP neutral stack. So I'll put a little bit of Tombow along this balloon strip. Oops. Sometimes it comes out like crazy, and other times it just wants to fight with me. So I'm going to put it down a little ways from the edge so I can trim it off. I just want to make sure that it's going to be straight and even. So there's that one. And I'll go ahead and glue the other one while I've got the Tombow cooperating with me. And it's going to be this side right here. Now I've got glue on my hands. I should have brought a baby wipe in here with me, but I didn't. So we're gonna, I don't need it down that far. I better not. Would have said I made a severe misnegotiation. Okay. So now this one's gonna go along here. So we can put our Tombow on both of those. match that up at the top. And you can always trim at the bottom or the top if you have a little overage on one piece or the other. Now we'll do this one. A little Tombow on that. We have lots of birthday cards to make. She is so active in different school functions. I think she knows everybody in this town, and she loves to give cards. So maybe she'll be a future Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, who knows. Okay, so there's that one. Let me get the scissors and trim these off. Oop, there went my chalk marker. Make her in that real quick. So trim that off at the top, and this one at the bottom. And we'll do the same thing with the Perfect Plum. And then we can mount them to the card bases. Okay, here's this one. These are really easy to make. It was kind of fun doing the balloons and deciding which colors to go with next. What I used was Marina Mist, Peekaboo Peach, Emerald Envy, Dzffodil Delight, Perfect Plum, and Watermelon Wonder. So we're going to put this up to the top, and actually, if I stack it like this, I should be able to get it perfectly matched. And like I said, if it doesn't match up perfectly, you can always trim off. I can see just maybe a hair of white at the bottom, but I can always trim that, and that'll be fine. Now we'll do the peach one. Get the other card base. Now, since the card bases are white, you'll have plenty of space inside to write a message. You won't have to add another piece of cardstock, but you can, we can always stamp something on the inside if need be. I'll just wait and see what she wants to put on it. Now, I thought about using this white chalk marker to make like little highlights on the balloons. I'll try one. If I don't like it, it doesn't show up very well, does it? Whatever that was. It may show up more after it dries, we'll see. You can't go over too many times because this paper is not water friendly. Okay. Make it a little thicker at the top. It might do better with white ink. I was hoping the white chalk marker would show up, but and it might after it dries some. I can always go back over it a couple times, but I don't want to do it all at once for fear that the paper will start to pill up on me. Now we need to put down our little strip of glimmer paper and we'll be all done. Get some Tombow on it. There we go. I'm going to run down it with my finger a little bit so it doesn't ooze out on the front, because I don't like that. Okay. So I'm going to put just a little strip of glimmer right here on the edge. Just kind of gives it a little glamour there. And we'll snip this off and put the rest of it over here and We'll just have a tiny piece left over. So there we go. That was 2 quick cards, wouldn't you say? One in Perfect Plum and one in Peekaboo Peach. I think those are really cute. I really like them. She was real pleased with them. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Try out the technique for yourself. Make your background and cut some strips and use them as a border on your card. If you like this video, please check the thumbs up and subscribe, and you'll know when the next videos are available. I'll see you later, guys. Thanks for joining me. Bye.